People aren't really like this. There's no, oh, come on. I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe that there was really something that wasn't just a bunch of, pardon expression, BS. That wasn't just a bunch of, this wasn't just preaching, Adam and Eve and this and that. It wasn't just talking about history, which is what the Bible was to me. And it was just like, they're talking about stuff that happened. Oh, what does that have to do with my life? Don't kill anyone. Yeah, I know that. It's common sense. Don't lie. Don't steal. Okay, yeah, I know that too. I knew all of that stuff. But this was different. And so I was like, wow, this is just great. And so anyway, I got more and more involved and more into it. And then of course my relationship developed and we became engaged. And I would ask him about things, but it was a little difficult because has his own business and is very busy. He's traveling, he's doing this, he's doing that. And, and then I went back to college to get a behavior degree because I have twins from my first marriage and they have autism. And autism is, a very difficult disorder and requires a lot of therapy and a lot of work to make the children be able to succeed and to progress. So I just was determined to be able to really help my children. And this is another subject, but there's a huge void of people that have the ability to really work with these kids. So anyway, while I was going to school, I just kept researching and doing more and more to learn about Islam. And basically, after about a year of studying on my own, I was sitting one night in August 21st, 2009. It was 11 o'clock at night, and I was on a website, and there was a little box in the corner that said, do you want to talk to somebody? So I clicked on it, and it was like a little interactive thing, and do you have questions, or do you want someone to call you? And it's 11 o'clock at night, so I just said, yeah, okay, sure, I want someone to call me. And I'm not thinking they're going to call me right now because it's 11 o'clock at night, and 5 minutes later my phone rings, and it's a man on the phone, and he asked me a few questions. Well, what do you know about Islam? So I told him what I knew. And he says, do you want to become Muslim? And I said, well, how do you do that? And he said, you just declare he just told me the Shahada. And so he goes, repeat after me. And so I did. And he goes, congratulations, you're Muslim. And he hangs up. And so I'm like, really? And I'm like, wow, okay, all right. Cool. Now what do I do? And I just sat there because I'm alone. My kids are asleep. I'm in my little apartment, and I'm like, wow, what do I do now? And so I email. Back then he was my fiance. I email him. I'm like, guess what? I'm a Muslim, and I didn't know what to do. And so then all of a sudden they start emailing me this organization. I mean, I got probably 25 emails in 5 seconds, really, with all these links, and they're telling me they're going to send me information, and they're going to send me Quran, they're going to send me all this stuff. Well, then they sent it, but they sent it 9 months later. So I had already, yeah, believe me, when the package came, I was shocked. It was 9 months later. But anyway, it was a good one. I have my whole little library was from them. So they sent me a lot of good stuff. But anyway, so in the meantime, I sat in my apartment for a month. I didn't know what to do. And so I kept going on different websites. And then there was one website that I found that had like a locator. It would locate places for you, like businesses that were Muslim and this and that. And so it gave me the location for the Islamic Center of South Bay. And so I called, and they said, oh, you want to talk to Sister Lita? And she's in charge of the women's group. And so I came here, and the rest of that's all history. But so basically that's how I became Muslim. It really, people always ask me, well, oh, so it's because of your husband. And I said, well, yes, of course. Alhamdulillah, he's the one who said, what do you know about Islam? But it wasn't for him, or because he insisted, or because it wasn't that. He did, and this is the thing when people talk about dawah, that I get a little bit, it's a little touchy subject for me, because I truly believe the words of the Quran, that Allah guides who He will. And I believe our duty is to present the message, is to give it in a beautiful way and to demonstrate. That's the most important thing, is to demonstrate through our life what it means. What is Islam? Not preaching, trying to convince somebody it's better or it's right or it's this or it's that. In a degree has a place, but really it's when people see how you live and they see how you are and they see your manner and they see how you conduct yourself and they see the way your life's going. Even not that it's going great or you don't have problems, but how you handle the problems. You know, this is, I think, what it impresses them. And this is what, like my husband, when I met him 2 weeks before Ramadan. And I'll tell you, this is the main reason, truly the reason I started researching Islam. The email thing, or the thing that on the website I read, that was kind of like a joke to me at first. But 2 weeks after I met him was Ramadan. And every time, you know, we would talk and he would be like, I have to go pray. What? Right now? What time is it? It's the time I have to go. Oh, okay. All right. I'll talk to you later. Okay. Bye. I can't, I'm not going to get online because I have to, I mean, just so many, because during Ramadan, he was one, he does all of the surah, all of the things. And so, like, even in our conversation, like, he told me, you can't talk to me like this, you can't talk to me like that, because I'm fasting, and this and this, and we're not married, and you're not my wife, and I mean, all of these, and I was like, are you joking, really? You know, what? I can't put a flower, no. And he was so, like, strict, and then I remember him telling me he was spending the whole night in the mosque praying, and I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? You're really going to stay all night and pray? How can you pray all night? Come on. No, really. And I'm like, the next day when I talked to him, I said, did you really stay in there all night? He said, alhamdulillah, la la la. And I'm like, this guy, really? Come on, you're joking. You're just telling me, no, really. Oh, it feels so good. You don't know what it's like. And and I'm like, wow. I'm like, really? I never met anybody ever that practiced what they preached. And he didn't really preach a lot. He just did it. And I was like, wow, this has got to be something really great. You know, I mean, this guy, because he's younger than me. And I'm like, wow, he's younger and he's in Morocco, which is, you know, is a kind of a different place if you've ever been there. You know, I mean, it's not like going some countries you go to and that's very strict and everybody's, you know, in the black. And Morocco, the guys are in the pointy toe shoes and the tight jeans and the sunglasses, and the girls are, some of them have the scarf, but they're in the tight little clothes and they got the heels and the makeup, and, you know, and the bling bling and all of this. It's a little different over there. So I was like, nah, this guy's, but he was serious. And so that's what really made me think, okay, there's got to be something to this. If some young guy who's, you know, living in this hip, cool place, you know, because I'd never been there. I thought it was hip and cool. It seemed like it, you know. And there's got to be something to it. And yeah, there was something to it. There was something to it. And that's this, yeah. And I'll never forget the first time that I opened the English version of the Quran, because I had no idea what to expect, because I had seen ayahs and surahs, you know, quoted and quoted on things and stuff. So it's just like, you know, the Bible's like that, you know, they have quotes and stuff. But when you read it, when you actually read it, it's more like you're having a conversation. Like when you sit down with a really good friend that you know really well, like, and you can just be really honest and you can really talk and you have that great flow between that person. That's what I felt like when I was reading it. And I would even like, the very first time, there was even times when I would read something and I would kind of laugh because I was like, you're right. Yes, exactly. Like, why? There's in Surah Baqarah, there's many times when Allah's asking, like, you know, I show them this and I give them the guidance, why they don't want to follow it. I mean, I'm very loose. I don't have it memorized, the exact words, but the questions were being asked, like, basically in very straight English, what's wrong with people that they don't listen? You know, they don't listen. How many times they have to be told? How many different ways? How many different examples? How many prophets do I have to send? How many things have to happen for people to like pay attention and to understand? And I was just like, I remember sitting alone in my apartment and just like laughing, going, yes, exactly, right. And then I'd go, whoa, who am I talking to? I'm crazy, you know? But it was like that. It was not like the Bible. When you read it, you're like, oh, you can't understand it, first of all. It doesn't make any sense. And in this chapter, it contradicts what you just learned in the last one. And, you know, it was frustrating. But with this, it was just like,